More than 700 years later, the Knights Templar still fascinate the world. Why? Because their story touches something deep in human imagination. A secret brotherhood, hidden knowledge, forbidden wealth, betrayal from kings, a mysterious disappearance, the perfect historical mystery. And maybe the most chilling part is this. The Templars proved that even the most powerful organization on Earth can collapse almost overnight. One day they controlled castles, armies, and fortunes across continents. The next, their leaders were chained in prison cells, their symbols banned, their names condemned. Yet history never truly buried them, because legends are harder to kill than people. And somewhere between fact and myth, the Knights Templar still ride through history. Not every Templar died. Some escaped. Some joined other military orders. In Portugal, many Templars were absorbed into a new organization called the Order of Christ. Interestingly, this order later helped fund Portuguese exploration during the Age of Discovery. Some historians believe former Templar knowledge and trade networks may have survived indirectly through these new groups. But the original order never fully returned. Its power was gone forever. Or so it seemed. The Templars weren't destroyed because they were weak. They were destroyed because they became too powerful. Think about it. They controlled money across Europe. They owned land everywhere. They answered only to the Pope. Kings feared organizations they couldn't control, and Philip IV understood something dangerous. If the public believed the Templars were evil, even briefly, their power could collapse overnight. That strategy worked. Fear destroyed what armies could not. In many ways, the Templar downfall became an early example of political propaganda being used to eliminate rivals. Even today, the Templars remain everywhere in popular culture. Movies, video games, novels, documentaries, conspiracy theories online. They appear in stories about hidden treasure and ancient secrets. Games like Assassin's Creed turned them into global pop culture icons. Books like The Da Vinci Code helped spread theories connecting them to hidden religious mysteries. Some people even believe modern secret groups descended directly from the Templars. Most of these stories are fictionalized, but they survive because the real history is already dramatic enough. Warrior monks, international bankers, political betrayal, public executions, vanishing treasure. It sounds like fantasy, but much of it truly happened. This question still divides historians. Were the Templars innocent victims, or was there truth behind the accusations? Most modern historians believe the charges of devil worship were politically motivated. Torture produced unreliable confessions, and King Philip clearly benefited financially from destroying them. But historians also acknowledge that the Templars were extremely secretive. Their initiation rituals were private. Outsiders didn't fully understand their practices. That secrecy made rumors easy to spread. In the Middle Ages, fear alone could destroy reputations. And once the church turned against you, survival became almost impossible. The Templars didn't simply disappear from history. They became myths. Some claimed surviving Templars went underground. Others believed they secretly infiltrated different organizations across Europe. Rumors connected them to secret societies, hidden treasure maps, ancient relics, underground tunnels, even the Holy Grail. One theory claimed the Templars discovered hidden knowledge beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Another claimed they protected sacred bloodlines. Centuries later, conspiracy theories linked the Templars to groups like the Freemasons. Historians debate these claims heavily. There's little direct evidence for most of them. But mystery keeps the legends alive, because people are fascinated by powerful organizations that vanish suddenly, especially when secrets are involved. Here's where history turns into mystery. When French forces seized Templar properties, much of their legendary treasure was missing. Gone. No massive gold reserves were discovered, no enormous secret vaults, no lost fortune. So people began asking questions. Did the Templars secretly move their treasure before the arrests? Did ships escape France carrying hidden riches? Some stories claim a Templar fleet vanished from the port of La Rochelle the night before the arrests. No one knows for certain, but the missing treasure became one of history's greatest conspiracy theories. And over centuries, the legends grew wilder. The final leader of the Templars was Jacques de Molay. For years, he denied many of the accusations, but under torture, even he confessed temporarily. Later, he changed his statement publicly. He declared the Templars innocent. That decision sealed his fate. In 1314, Jacques de Molay was burned alive in Paris. Witnesses claimed he faced death calmly, and according to legend, before dying, he cursed both the king and the pope. The story says he called them to face God's judgment within a year. Strangely, both men died soon afterward. This helped fuel the growing myth that the Templars possessed supernatural power. And that was only the beginning. October 13, 1307. A Friday. At dawn, across France, royal soldiers launched coordinated raids against the Templars. Hundreds were arrested simultaneously. The accusations sounded horrifying. The Templars were accused of spitting on crosses, worshipping idols, secret initiation rituals, corruption, blasphemy, even devil worship. Many historians believe most of these accusations were false or exaggerated. But under torture, people confessed to almost anything. Templars were stretched on racks, burned, starved, crushed. Some confessed after unbearable pain. Others refused. The arrests shocked Europe. How could holy warriors suddenly become enemies of Christianity? But fear spread quickly, and Philip controlled the narrative. The once powerful Templars were now prisoners. Then came another devastating blow. Pope Clement V eventually dissolved the order under intense political pressure. The Templars were finished. Officially. By the early 1300s, the Crusades were failing. Christian forces were losing the Holy Land. In 1291, the city of Acre, one of the last major Crusader strongholds, fell to Muslim armies. The Templars lost their main military purpose, but they still had enormous wealth, and that wealth attracted dangerous attention, especially from Philip IV of France. King Philip IV had serious financial problems. Wars drained his treasury. He owed huge debts, and much of that debt was owed to the Templars. Philip needed money desperately, but there was a problem. The Templars were protected by the Pope, so the king devised a terrifying plan. He would accuse them of heresy. This is where the story becomes truly shocking. Most people think the Templars were only warriors, but their real power came from money. A lot of money. Traveling across medieval Europe was dangerous. Carrying gold made you a target for thieves. So the Templars created something revolutionary. A pilgrim could deposit money in one Templar location, then withdraw it in another country using coded documents. In some ways, it worked like an early banking system. Soon, kings and nobles trusted the Templars with their wealth. They guarded treasure, collected taxes, loaned money. Even governments borrowed from them. The order became incredibly rich. They owned farms, vineyards, mills, ships, castles, ports, and trading networks stretching across Europe and the Middle East. Some historians even call them the world's first multinational corporation. And with wealth came influence, massive influence. The Templars could fund wars, advise kings, move money across continents. At their peak, they may have controlled thousands of properties throughout Europe. An organization that started with 9 poor knights had transformed into an economic empire. But power creates enemies, and the Templars were about to make the worst enemy possible: the King of France. The Templars weren't just monks. They were elite killers, highly trained cavalry knights. Their battlefield discipline terrified enemies. Unlike many medieval soldiers who charged recklessly, Templars fought with strict organization, and they almost never retreated. To surrender in battle was considered shameful. Many fought to the death. Muslim armies during the Crusades deeply respected and feared them. One Muslim leader reportedly called them the bravest of the Franks. The Templars became legends during battles across the Holy Land. But the Crusades were brutally violent from both sides. Cities burned. Prisoners were executed. Religious hatred fueled massacres for generations. And as the wars continued, the Templars became more powerful than ever. In medieval Europe, the Catholic Church controlled enormous power, and the Templars gained something almost no one else had: direct support from the Pope. At the Council of Troyes in 1129, the Church officially recognized the order. Then came a massive turning point. Bernard of Clairvaux, one of the most influential religious figures in Europe, publicly praised them. He described the Templars as holy warriors, chosen by God. Suddenly, nobles across Europe began donating land, gold, castles, and farms to the order. The Templars exploded in power. They built headquarters across Europe: England, France, Portugal, Spain, Italy, everywhere. And because of papal protection, local kings often couldn't control them. They answered only to the Pope. Imagine a private army that operated across continents, outside normal laws. That was the Templars. The knights called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. A long name. Most people simply called them the Templars. The name came from where they lived, near the ancient Temple Mount in Jerusalem, believed by many Christians to be the location of King Solomon's temple. At first, they looked unimpressive. They wore simple white robes marked with a red cross. They took vows of poverty, obedience, and chastity. They slept in shared rooms. A famous Templar seal even showed 2 knights riding a single horse, symbolizing poverty. But behind the image of humble warriors, something much bigger was growing. Imagine living in medieval Europe. The world is violent. Disease spreads through crowded cities. Armies march constantly across kingdoms. And in the Middle East, Christians and Muslims are locked in brutal holy wars called the Crusades. In the year 1099, Christian armies captured Jerusalem after the First Crusade. Thousands died in the streets. But for European Christians, this victory felt like a miracle. Soon, pilgrims from across Europe began traveling to the Holy Land. But the journey was deadly. Bandits attacked travelers. Many disappeared before ever reaching Jerusalem. So, around 1119, a small group of French knights made a shocking promise. They would dedicate their lives to protecting Christian pilgrims, no matter the cost. Their leader was a knight named Hugues de Payens. Only 9 knights joined at first. 9 poor warriors. No money, no power, no land. But within decades, they would become richer than kings.